What do you have to lose? That is the question most people ask themselves when they are standing at the edge of something uncertain. A new business, a new relationship, a new country, a new identity. And in that moment, they believe they are being rational. They believe they are weighing options. But what they are actually doing is revealing the architecture of their fear, because the question itself is a confession. It assumes that what you currently have is worth protecting. It assumes that the known mediocrity in your hand is more valuable than the unknown possibility in front of. And that assumption, that quiet, insidious assumption, is the reason most people die without ever meeting the... Let me be clear about what this video is. This is not motivation. Motivation is temporary. Motivation is the sugar rush before the crash. What you're about to experience is something closer to surgery. We are going to open up the way you think about risk, safety, failure, value, and death itself. And by the end of this, you will not feel inspired. You will feel different. You will feel awake. Because the truth is not designed to make you comfortable. The truth is designed to make you free. Here is what we are going to do together. I am going to show you why everything you have been taught about security is a lie. I am going to show you how the mind operates like a factory. I'm going to show you the difference between dreams and goals. I'm going to show you why failure is not the opposite of success, but the texture of it. And finally, I'm going to take you to your deathbed so you can meet the ghosts that will be waiting for you. This is not for everyone. If you are looking for comfort, close this video. If you are looking for permission to stay small, you will not find it here. But if you are ready to understand how value is actually created, perceived and rewarded in this world, because what you are about to learn is worth more than any degree, any certification. Let us begin with the most dangerous lie you have ever been told. The lie that says it is wise to have something to fall back on. You have heard this your entire life. Get a backup plan. Keep your options open. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, and it sounds reasonable. It sounds like wisdom. But it is not wisdom. It is cowardice dressed in the language of prudence. When you build a fallback position, you are programming yourself for retreat. You are telling your subconscious mind that failure is not just possible, it is expected. And the moment you expect to fail, you begin to design your actions around that expectation. You hold back effort, you protect energy, you hedge your commitment, and in doing so, you guarantee the very outcome you feared. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. You cannot run full speed toward a goal while glancing over your shoulder at the exit door. The body does not work that way. The mind does not work that way. There is a different model, a better model, and it is called falling forward. If you are going to fall, and you will fall in the direction of your target. Fall toward the thing you are trying to build, not away from it. Because when you fall forward, even your failures become data. Even your mistakes become momentum. You are still moving in the right direction. You are still closing the distance between where you are and where you need to be. But when you fall backward, when you retreat into safety, you lose everything. You lose the lesson. You lose the progress. You lose the identity of someone who is willing to try. And here is what no one tells you about safety. Safety is not safe. Security is not secure. The stable job can disappear in a single email. The predictable relationship can end in a single conversation. The comfortable routine can collapse in a single diagnosis. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is permanent. The only question is whether you spent your time building something worth losing. Think about it this way. You can have 30 years of vitality, of risk, of creation, or you can have 100 years of preservation, sitting quietly in the corner, avoiding danger. Which one is actually longer? Which one is actually safer? The person who risks everything and dies at 50 has lived more than the person who risks nothing and dies. Because life is not measured in heartbeats. It is measured in moments when your heart was actually beating for something. Now let us talk about the disease that is killing your potential. And it is a disease. It has symptoms. It has a progression. And if left untreated, it is fatal. The disease is called excessive caution. And it is the single greatest threat to prosperity, creativity, and fulfillment in the modern world. You can recognize it by its language. The language of the poor. Not poor in money, though that often follows. Poor in spirit, poor in vision, poor in possibility. Listen to the questions people ask when they are infected with this disease. What if it does not work? What if I look stupid? What if I lose money? What if people judge me? What if I am not ready? These are not questions, these are exits. These are trapdoors the mind creates to avoid the confrontation with uncertainty. And every time you ask one of these questions, you are rehearsing failure. You are practicing retreat. You are training yourself to see obstacles instead of opportunities. Now compare that to the questions successful people ask. What if it does work? What if this is the one? What if I am exactly the person who can solve this? What do I need to learn to make this happen? How can I move faster? The questions you ask determine the answers you find, and the answers you find determine the life you live. If you are asking the wrong questions, you are getting the wrong life. It is that simple. Excessive caution is not a virtue. It is not wisdom. It is fear disguised as responsibility. It is the voice that tells you to wait until you are ready, knowing you will never feel ready. It is the voice that tells you to gather more information. It is the voice that tells you to play it safe, knowing that safety is the most dangerous gamble of all. And here is the mechanism. Caution makes you focus on what you might lose instead of what you might gain. And that shift in focus changes everything. Because loss and gain are not equal in the human brain. We are wired to feel the pain of loss twice as intensely as the pleasure of gain. This is called loss aversion, and it is one of the most powerful cognitive biases we have. It kept our ancestors alive when survival was the only game, but in the modern world it keeps you small. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you focused on protecting the little you have, instead of building the much you could create. So what is the cure? The cure is to deliberately recalibrate your perception, to train yourself to see opportunity with the same intensity that you currently see danger, to ask yourself every single day, what is the cost of not acting? What will I lose if I stay here? What will I become if I do nothing? Because that cost is real, that cost is compounding. And over the course of a lifetime, the cost of excessive caution is always, now we need to talk about how you see the world. Because how you see the world is not a passive experience. It is an active construction. Your brain is not a camera. It is not recording reality. It is creating reality moment by moment, based on what you choose to focus on. And most people do not choose. They let their focus be hijacked by whatever is loudest, brightest, most urgent, or most negative. And then they wonder why their life feels chaotic, overwhelming, and out of control. Here is the principle. Life is not how it is. Life is how you are. If you are cynical, you will see cynicism everywhere. If you are grateful, you will see abundance everywhere. If you are looking for problems, you will find them. If you are looking for solutions, you will find those too. The world has not changed, you have changed. And the world you experience is a reflection of that change. Let me give you an example. Two people are standing in the same room, looking out the same window. One sees a beautiful sunset. The other sees a smudge on the glass. Same window, same moment, different reality. Why? Because perception is selective. You cannot see everything. Your conscious mind can only process a tiny fraction of the information available at any given moment. So it filters, it prioritizes, it decides what matters. And that decision is based on your beliefs, your emotions, your habits, and your expectations. So if you believe the world is dangerous, your brain will show you evidence of danger. If you believe people are selfish, your brain will show you selfish people. If you believe success is impossible, your brain will show you failure after failure after failure. Not because those are the only things in the world, but because those are the only things you are wired to see. You are living in a confirmation loop, and the longer you stay in that loop, the stronger it becomes. Now here is where it gets dangerous. There is a pattern of thinking that does not just limit your perception, it destroys your future, and that pattern is complaint. Complaining is not just annoying, it is not just unproductive, it is economically lethal. Let me show you why. When you complain, you are doing two things simultaneously. First, you are reinforcing the belief that you are powerless, that external circumstances control your life, that you are a victim of forces beyond your control. And second, you are programming your brain to search for more things to complain about, because the brain loves patterns. It loves consistency. So if complaining is your pattern, your brain will manufacture reasons to continue that pattern. It will find the smudge on the glass every single time. There is a story in the Bible about the Israelites wandering in the desert. They were 40 days away from the promised land. 40 days, but they spent those 40 days complaining about the food, complaining about the leadership, complaining about the journey. And because they complained, they never made it. They died in the desert, all of them. An entire generation gone because they could not stop focusing on what was wrong instead of what was ye. Now you might think that is just a story, but it is a pattern that plays out in offices, in marriages, in careers, in bank accounts all over the world. People who complain do not prosper. not because the universe is punishing them, but because complaining is a signal to yourself and to everyone around you that you are not the kind of person who solves problems. You are the kind of person who narrates them, and no one pays narrators, they pay solvers. So if you want to change your financial reality, if you want to change your professional trajectory, not reduce it, eliminate it, cut it out like a cancer, because that is what it is. A cancer that spreads through your thoughts, your words, your relationships, and eventually your results. Let us go deeper now. Let us talk about the mind itself, not as an abstract concept, but as a system, a factory. Because that is what it is. Your mind is a factory. It takes in raw materials, processes them, and produces output. The raw materials are the information you consume, the conversations you have, the content you watch, the people you spend time with, the thoughts you entertain, and the output is your decisions, your emotions, your energy, and ultimately your results. Now here is the problem. Most people are running a factory with no quality control. They let anything in. Good information and bad information. Empowering ideas and destructive ideas. Truth and lies, news and noise. And then they wonder why their output is inconsistent, why their emotions are unstable, why their decisions are poor, why their results are mediocre. You cannot build a fortune with garbage input. You cannot create a masterpiece with broken tools. You cannot construct a meaningful life with toxic raw materials. It does not matter how hard you work. It does not matter how many hours you put in. If the input is wrong, the output will be wrong. Thinking hard is more important than working hard, and most people never learn that lesson. Let me give you a metaphor that will change how you see this forever. Imagine you are drinking a cup of coffee. Someone approaches you and offers to add something to your cup. If they add sugar, the coffee gets sweeter. You enjoy it more. If they add poison, strychnine, you die. Simple. Now here is the question. Does it matter who adds the poison? Does it matter if it is your worst enemy or your best friend? Does it matter if they did it intentionally or accidentally? No, it does not matter. The effect is the same. Poison is poison. The source is irrelevant. Your mind works the same way. It does not matter where the negative input comes from. It does not matter if it is a news channel, a pessimistic friend, a toxic co-worker. The effect is the same. It poisons your factory, it contaminates your output, and over time it kills your potential. So what do? You stand guard. You stand guard at the door of your mind every single day. You become ruthlessly selective about what you allow in. You ask yourself, before you consume anything, is this sugar or is this poison? Is this going to make me stronger or weaker? Is this going to expand my possibilities or contract them? And if the answer is poison, you shut the door. You do not negotiate. You do not make exceptions. You protect your factory like your life depends on it. Because it does. This is not about being closed-minded. This is about being disciplined. There is a difference between being open to new ideas and being open to destructive ideas. You can be curious without being careless. You can be informed without being infected. But you have to choose. You have to decide that your mind is valuable, that your attention is sacred. Now let us talk about dreams. Because everyone has them, everyone talks about them, but almost no one achieves them. Why? Because they confuse dreams with goals. And dreams and goals are not the same thing, not even close. A dream is a feeling, a wish, a vague sense of what could be. It is beautiful, it is inspiring, but it is not operational. A dream without a deadline is just a fantasy. And fantasies do not build businesses. They do not create wealth. They do not change lives. They just make you feel good temporarily and then they fade. A goal is different. A goal has a deadline. A goal has a plan. A goal has milestones, metrics, and accountability. A goal is something you can work on today, right now, this hour. A goal transforms possibility into probability. And probability, with enough repetition, becomes inevitability. So if you have a dream, good. Keep it. Let it fuel you. But do not stop there. Convert it into a goal. Give it a timeline. Break it into steps. Identify the first action and take it. Because the distance between dreaming and doing is not talent. It is not luck. It is discipline, the discipline to start. And consistency, the consistency to finish. And here is what most people do not understand about discipline and consistency. They are not personality traits. You are not born with them, you build them. You build them the same way you build a muscle. Through repetition, through resistance, through doing the thing even when you do not feel like doing the thing. Especially when you do not feel like doing the thing. Because feelings are temporary, systems are permanent. Now I need to tell you something that might be hard to hear. You are going to fail. You are going to fail repeatedly. You are going to embarrass yourself. You are going to make mistakes in public. You are going to invest time, money, and energy into things that do not work. And there is no way around this. Failure is not a possibility, it is a certainty. It is the price of entry into anything worth doing. But here is what separates people who succeed from people who quit. Successful people understand that failure is not the end of the story. It is the middle. It is the data collection phase. It is the tuition you pay to learn what does not work, so you can get closer to what does. Let me give you some numbers. Reggie Jackson, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He failed more than anyone else, but he is not remembered for his failures. He is remembered for his home runs. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. 1,000 times. And when someone asked him if he felt discouraged, he said no. He said he did not fail 1,000 times. He successfully discovered 1,000 ways that did not work. This is the mindset. This is the reframe. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the texture of success. It is the surface you walk on to get there. And if you are not failing, you are not moving. You are standing still. You are playing it safe. You are protecting your ego at the expense of your growth. There is a test called the 9-dot problem. You are given 9 dots arranged in a square, and you have to connect all 9 dots with 4 straight lines. Most people cannot do it. Why? Because they assume the lines have to stay inside the square, but they do not. The solution requires you to go outside the boundaries, to break the invisible rules you created for yourself. That is the metaphor for your life. You are trapped inside a box that does not exist, a box made of assumptions, fears, and inherited beliefs. And until you are willing to step outside that box, to try things that feel wrong, you will keep failing the same test over and over. So here is the principle, the law of probability. If you stay in the barbershop long enough, you will get a haircut. If you keep showing up, keep trying, keep adjusting, keep learning, eventually the odds turn in your favor. Not because you are lucky, because you are persistent, because you refuse to quit. Let me give you a real example. Denzel Washington auditioned for a role in a Broadway musical early in his career. He did not get the part. Why? Because he could not sing. He failed, publicly in front of people who mattered, and he could have let that define him. He could have decided that Broadway was not for him, that he did not belong. But he did not. He kept acting, he kept working, he kept improving. And 30 years later, he came back to that same theater, not to audition, to accept a Tony Award, the highest honor in theater. Same building, different man. That is what persistence looks like. That is what falling forward looks like. You do not avoid the places where you failed. You return to them, stronger, wiser, victorious. Before we go further, I want you to do something. I want you to make a decision right now. Not later, not when you finish this video, right now. I want you to decide that you are the kind of person who creates value. The kind of person who sees opportunity where others see obstacles. The kind of person who falls forward, who guards their mind, who converts dreams into goals. And I want you to make that decision public. Go to the comments right now and type these words. I create value. That is it, 3 words. But those 3 words are a commitment, a line in the sand, a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are not the same person you were when you started this. Now here is why this matters. Public commitment changes behavior. When you declare something out loud, when you put it in writing where others can see it, your brain wants your actions to match your words. It wants to protect your identity. So by declaring that you create value, you are programming yourself to act in ways that confirm that identity. You are closing the gap between who you are and who you say you are. And while you are there, hit the like button. Not because I need it, but because you do. Because liking this video is an act of discipline. It is a micro decision that reinforces the macro decision to take yourself seriously. It is a vote for the person you are becoming. And subscribe to this channel, not for more content, but for more accountability. Because every time you see a new video, you will be reminded of the commitment you made today. And that reminder will keep you moving forward when everything else is pulling you back. Do it now. Comment, like, subscribe, and then come back. Because what comes next is where this gets serious. We are at the turning point now. You have learned the fundamentals. You understand that safety is a lie. You understand that caution is a disease. You understand that your mind is a factory, and you must guard it. You understand that dreams without deadlines are fantasies. You understand that failure is not the enemy. It is the curriculum. And you have made a public commitment to become someone who creates value. But here is the truth. Most people will stop here. They will nod along. They will feel inspired. They will tell themselves they are going to change. And then they will go back to exactly what they were doing before. Why? Because knowing is not enough. Understanding is not enough. You need something deeper. You need something visceral. You need a reason to act that is stronger than your fear, stronger than your comfort. So I'm going to take you somewhere most people refuse to go. I'm going to take you to the end, to your deathbed. And I'm going to show you who is waiting for you there. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself old, weak, lying in a bed. Your body is failing, your time is running out, and you know it. You can feel it. This is the end. And in that moment you look around the room and you see them, the ghosts. They are not strangers. They are yours. They belong to you. These are the ghosts of every idea you never acted on, every business you never started, every book you never wrote, every conversation you never had, every risk you never took, every talent you never developed, every person you never became. They are all there, surrounding you, staring at you. And they are not sad. They are angry, because they had potential. They had life inside them. They could have been real. They could have mattered. They could have changed the world, or at least changed your world. But they did not get the chance. Why? Because you were too afraid, too cautious, too comfortable, too concerned with what other people might think. And now they are gone. Not just from the world, but from the realm of possibility. They will never exist, and they know it. And they blame you. Can you hear them? Can you hear what they are saying? We could have lived. We could have mattered. We could have been something, but you killed us. You let us die inside you, and now we have to die with you. How many ghosts will be in that room when your time comes? How many ideas will you take to the grave? How many versions of yourself will never see the light of day? This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. This is the most practical question you will ever answer, because the life you are living right now is creating those ghosts. Every day you wait is another ghost. Every excuse you make is another ghost. Every dream you postpone is another ghost. And here is the worst part. You will not get another chance. There is no reset button. There is no do-over. This is it, this life, this body, this moment, and it is running out, not someday, right now. Every second you spend watching this video is a second you will never get back. Every hour you waste scrolling is an hour stolen from your potential. Every year you spend in a job you hate, a relationship that drains you, a city that suffocates you. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep playing it safe? Are you going to keep waiting for permission, for perfect conditions, for the fear to go away? Or are you going to accept that the fear is never going away? Because here is the final truth. The world needs what you have. I am not talking about motivation. I am talking about reality. There are problems in this world that only you can solve. There are people in this world that only you can help. There are creations that only you can bring into existence, not because you are special, but because you are unique. There is no one else with your exact combination of experiences, skills, perspectives, and obsessions. No one else sees the world exactly the way you see it. And that means no one else can contribute exactly what you can contribute. So it is not about you. It is not about your comfort. It is not about your fear. It is about the people who are waiting for you to show up. The people who need the thing you are supposed to create. The people who are suffering because you are hiding. And every day you delay is another day they wait. Another day they struggle. Another day the problem goes unsolved. You think you are protecting yourself by playing small, but you are not. You are stealing. You are stealing from the world. You are stealing from the future. You are stealing from the version of yourself that is waiting on the other side of your fear. And that version is worth meeting. That version is worth becoming. But you will never meet them if you do not move. So here is what you do. You take everything you have learned in this video and you act on it. Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Not when you feel ready. Today, you identify one thing you have been avoiding, one risk you have been too afraid to take, one conversation you have been postponing, one project you have been delaying. And you do it. You take the first step, you send the email, you make the call, you write the first page, you post the video, you start the business, you have the conversation, you fall forward, and you do not stop because momentum is everything. One action leads to another. One decision creates the next. One risk makes the second risk easier. And over time, those actions compound. Those decisions stack. And the person you are today becomes unrecognizable to the person you will be a year from now. Not because of one big change, but because of 1,000 small ones. 1,000 moments where you chose courage over comfort. 1,000 moments where you chose growth over safety. 1,000 moments where you chose to create value instead of consume it. This is how you win. Not by being perfect, not by being fearless, but by being relentless. By refusing to negotiate with your excuses. By refusing to let the ghosts multiply. By refusing to die with your potential still inside you. So I will ask you one more time, what do you have to lose? And this time I want you to answer honestly, not with the safe answer, not with the socially acceptable answer, but with the real answer. What do you actually have to lose? A job you do not love? A relationship that is not serving you? A city that does not inspire you? A routine that is slowly killing you? A reputation built on who you used to be instead of who you are becoming? Is that really worth protecting? Is that really worth dying for? Or could you lose it? Could you let it go? Could you trade the security of the known for the possibility of the unknown? Could you fall forward instead of falling back? Could you become the kind of person who creates value? Who guards their mind, who converts dreams into goals? You could. And if you are still here, if you have made it this far, then you already know you should. You already know what needs to happen. You already know what you have been avoiding. And now you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to your life exactly as it was. Or you can decide that today is the day. The day you stop preparing, the day you stop researching, the day you stop waiting, the day you act. The ghosts are watching, the world is waiting. Your future self is calling. And the only question left is whether you are brave enough to answer. What do you have to lose? Nothing that matters, and everything to gain.